In today's video, I'm going to be looking at JOBY, also known as JOBY Aviation. This is a stock that has been featured a number of occasions on the channel, potentially could right now be at a good price, and we're going to be asking this question: is this the stock to mint millionaires? And for MMAT and MMTLP, we're going to be looking at the latest developments, including a potential $575 payment for a return of approximately $2.5 million potentially for the directors. So before we get started, let's have a look at what's happening in the market. So first of all, from Reuters, we can see Asian stocks are gaining, bonds are falling as traders are considering the odds of a bigger Fed cut. So this is certainly something that is positive in the markets right now. And what we can also see here in terms of Bloomberg, we can see that the Trump cannot fire the Fed governor Lisa Cook for now, and this is according to a judge. So I think that is obviously going to be seen as something a bit more positive for the markets, because obviously it enables neutrality for the markets. And in terms of earnings, what we can see here, in terms of earnings, we're today I think we're looking at Vince, CULP, Lasaka, but I think the big ones for me tomorrow is going to be Lovesac, Kroger, and certainly Adobe. So keep an eye out on those. I think hopefully Adobe will be a significant beat. One trade I'd like to share with you is from Quiver Quantitative, ticker symbol IREN, shared in the Discord. And what's interesting about this stock, this is a bit mining stock. It was up yesterday approximately 14%, and obviously being invested by Cleo Fields from Congress, so maybe he knew something we don't know. But let's now have a look at what I've called this week for earnings. In terms of Oracle, that was on our watch list, so congratulations to everybody on Oracle. I did expect an earnings beat, and we've had a huge bounce in Oracle with exceptional growth for the future expected. And the other one I am going to be watching carefully is Adobe, which is down, and I think potentially at a good price. So another stock featured regularly on the channel is UNH, also known as United Health, and yesterday up close to 10%, and did also cross the $350 mark. So congratulations to everybody who got into UNH. And what I'd like to share with you from the Stock Discord news channel is also with regard to IREN that we've just shared. And finally, what I'd like to share with you now in terms of a quick review of the previous week's weekly watch list. We had some great calls, including UPWK up 7.5%, CNL up 6.4%, REYN up 4.5%, and many more. So if you would like to get the next weekly watch list as well as a copy of our daily stock alerts, you can join us in the Discord with the link and details in the description below. Before we get started, I'd like to take 1 minute of your time to share more details about the Trading Secrets Discord. And once you join, you'll get access to our daily stock alerts, the weekly watch list shared prior to trading on the Monday, also the $1 Million Challenge, and much more. And for some of the members, I also share my buy and sell alerts live. These include swing trades, and they also include long-term holds. In terms of the weekly watch list, these are our calls that are also recorded weekly with some tremendous returns, including LAES up over 152%, RUM up over 51%, and many more. But obviously not all calls are successful. We've had a $2,000 Discord update, and this includes live breaking news. It also includes why a stock is moving, analyst rating, FDA news, halt stack pools, and much more to help in your trading decisions. We have a new top ranked stocks DD channel with well over 30 stocks now for number one rated buy stocks. And finally, you can also join us in the famous $1 Million Challenge, where we use compound return investing, looking at 201 trades with a return of 3.5%. Let's have a look at ticker symbol JOBY. This is a stock that has been featured regularly on the channel, also known as JOBY Aviation, and we can see here headline from 24/7 Wall Street: the eVTOL pioneer ready to potentially mint millionaires. So there are key reasons for this, but in terms of the key points, we can see here the stock did surge in 2025. Right now it is on a potential good buying opportunity, and it could offer a strategic entry point for people looking at this. There is a commercialization looming in 2026 with significant revenue growth, and it could see potential millionaires in the making. So why are we looking at this right now? So it is a stock that is going to be extremely volatile, does need to be traded with care, but the potential is certainly sky high, trading on the NYSE on the ticker symbol JOBY. So it's delivering its first aircraft to the US Air Force. It's completed 30,000 miles of flight testing, and it also has advanced final phase FAA certification, which puts it ahead of other stocks such as Archer Aviation. And the other thing going in its favor, especially for growth in the future and stability is strategic partnerships with Toyota, Delta Airlines, and also Uber Technologies, which I think is extremely bullish and positive. So let's focus on volatility. So the volatility has been quite significant, and we know at its peak it was trading around about the $20.95. Currently trading around about the $13 mark, with commercialization looming next year, and could right now be at a prime buying price. And also, as we said, potentially ready now to make some investors millionaires. So it's looking at revolutionizing the air taxi revolution environment, and they have the eVTOL aircraft designed to offer a quiet, eco-friendly alternative to traditional transportation. So it is a leader in the nascent air taxi industry, and I think the potential for the future is huge. So let's now have a look at the path to profitability. So they are targeting these piloted flights for commercial purposes in 2026, so we're not far away from that right now. The regulatory momentums are also ahead of stocks such as Archer Aviation, as we've just seen, because they have trials with certification in progress and obviously expected to complete. They have those strategic partnerships with the companies like Toyota, etc. There's also international expansion down the horizons, and this includes Australia and South Korea, which is going to give it much more revenue potential. So let's now focus on the key takeaways and the points to consider for a potential investment. And we know that potential for JOBY to dominate in the future, especially in the urban air mobility sector, is mirroring the transformative impact of early tech giants such as obviously Uber, and obviously this is right now a potential good entry point to look at this. So from Market Beat, which we can also see here, headline recently, JOBY Aviation pullback, a gift for investors who see the future. So it is a high risk, high reward stock, and it does need to be traded with care. So why is there a pullback? Well, let's have a look at the 1 month chart. Down approximately 19%. We can see a market cap just in excess of 11.49 billion, trading at $13.42. But what I'd now like to share with you is the chart for the year to date. However, for the year to date, it is still in good momentum, up over 65%. And at one point there was an opportunity to catch this around just over the $5 mark. So still a good return from there. And if we look at the high in excess of $20 right now, trading at $13.42. And as we've seen, with some significant catalysts ahead for 2026, keep an eye out on ticker symbol JOBY, also known as JOBY Aviation. Let's have a look at the latest updates for MMAT and also MMTLP. So there's an interesting post here from Jay Brown, and he's posted with regard to something from the court listener page. In terms of the bankruptcy case, and he states here, check it out, somebody bought a $250,000 insurance policy to cover fraud investigation and help me figure out if it's meaningless or meaningful. So first of all, what I would like to say is, from what I have seen, I don't think it's a $250,000 insurance policy. I think it's a $2.5 million insurance policy. Well, let's have a look at the details of this, because it is an interesting post. So if we have a look at the filing here, United States District Bankruptcy Court, District of Nevada, and we can see here there is an order in the metamaterials better case stipulating allowing for advancement of payments under an insurance policy. So it certainly looks like there is truth to this. So if we have a look at the details of this in the filing, we can see Chapter 7, the trustee for the estate of metamaterials, and each of Alison, Christian, Ken, Hannah, and also Steen Carbsmo, who are the former directors of metamaterials, together with the trustee, are seeking entry of an order approving advancement or advance payment under an insurance policy. So it looks like they have this policy and they are looking for payment now in this. So as far as I'm concerned, it looks like this is something they thought was going to be a risk, and they have protected themselves for that. And let's have a look at what it also states here. It states that there were no objections or other responses that have been filed. So because there were no responses, it looks like it states here, it is hereby ordered that. And if we have a look at the next page here, in terms of ordered that, number one, the stipulation is approved. So what that basically means, they will get the advance payment, they will get the cash, and this will be from their insurance policy. So we're going to have a look at details of that. So again, repeating, Alison, Christy Law, Kent, Hannah, Steen, Carspo, and they're all permitted to enforce their rights to receive the proceeds payable under the insurance policy. So it looks, as far as I'm concerned, if I was to play devil's advocate, I would say that they certainly had some inside information on the company and the risk involved, and they are now protecting themselves and obviously they are benefiting from that. But let's have a look at the policy here from Executive Edge. A broad form management liability insurance policy, a declaration of the named entity, which is Meta Materials Incorporated. So they paid a premium of $575, which is basically nothing, and they have a limit of liability, not $250,000 as stated in the post, but from what I see, $2.5 million. So that is what they can claim, which is I think quite staggering. So we'll have to see what the further comments are on this and the other opinions. So the next update I'd like to provide you is an interesting one from FINRA point of view and Scott's case, and he states here he has a recent update, and the update here, the judge has made an announcement in the Trout versus Rubenstein FINRA case, and basically foreclosed any possibility of amending the complaint, as the court has stated that FINRA has absolute immunity and it was not subject to US constitutional scrutiny. So basically, how many politicians out there have said nobody is above the law? This is a direct contradiction of that. So I think some of those congressmen and politicians should address that. Basically, FINRA are above the law, and looks like the court is following that. So let that sink in. So what Scott also goes on to say is a US judge, like the others, is deferring to an undetected, unaccountable self-regulatory organisation, i.e. FINRA, and he is going to be filing his appeal to the second Court of Appeals within 30 days. So what we can also see in his filing here, carrying on, in terms of the questions he's going to be asking, he's going to basically looking at things like, was the seizure of FINRA by $3 billion worth of dividends or preferred shares held by approximately 65,000 MMTL shareholders legal? So he's alleging that FINRA have taken that money, and FINRA is it wielding the judicial, administrative and virtual police powers to seize the property, and none of its officers are accountable, none of them can be removed, and he's asking a question here, can they not even be removed by the President of the United States if he exercises his order? So I don't think that's been tested, but I would certainly welcome that if that is something that is a potential outcome. And the third question he states is, did FINRA under the oversight of the SEC violate an interesting precedent here from the past, 1978, and that is SEC versus Sloan, where there was a precedent which stated that by not restarting trading within 10 days after the mandatory restart ordered by the US Supreme Court in recognizing Rule 12K. So are FINRA in violation of that? And I think it certainly is a question that should be asked. So in terms of some of the follow-up comments, what Scott has stated in response to some of the questions states, he's currently 14 months into this, there is no way out. He's happy to know that the 1,209 people that are collectively using every FINRA and SEC screw up from the past in their cases to support him in the second district court. So he does have a lot of support. I think Scott also divides opinions, but I think as far as his fight with FINRA is concerned, I think everybody is not on the side of FINRA unless you are on not on the retail side. So he states here he's going to arbitration and TDA. That is with TDA and Schwab, and he states here the positive in what he's saying is he gets to appeal to a higher court. So let's now move on to some sad news. So shout out to Steph, who's posted with regard to the sad news with regard to Richie. I've also posted regarding this as well, and he's tagged in Pete Sessions stating, do you remember Richie? So there's a picture there with Richie, and Richie did go above and beyond and put in numerous and countless hours to fight for the MMTLP fiasco. But he has now passed away, so condolences all to the Richie family, and hopefully Pete Sessions does respond. And the final update I'd like to share with you, which I think is certainly quite interesting with strong parallels with MMTLP, and that is the Trevor Milton story with regard to Nicola. So Rob Carter has just announced that he will be on his guest, so keep an eye out on that show, don't miss it, and we will hopefully get a positive impact from that very, very soon. Finally, thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.